Have you ever reached a point where no matter how much you try, nothing moves? You plan, push, meditate, manifest, and still, the silence is deafening. It's not that you're doing it wrong, it's that you're doing too much. The Stoics taught that control is an illusion, and peace begins where grasping ends. What if the real breakthrough isn't in one more effort, but in doing nothing at all? Not in defeat, but in clarity. Not in weakness, but in wisdom. This isn't about quitting, it's about remembering who you were before the chase began. Stay with me, you're closer than you think. Chapter 1. Stop chasing. Return to alignment. We've been conditioned to believe that more effort always leads to more reward. That if we just push harder, run faster and chase longer, life will eventually hand us what we want. But Stoicism teaches us something radically different. What we chase with desperation often runs from us. Why? Because obsession reveals a soul out of alignment. The Stoics knew that peace and power don't come from endless striving, but from clarity, stillness, and self-mastery. When you crave love so intensely it clouds your judgment, ask yourself, is it truly about connection, or are you terrified of being alone? When wealth consumes your thoughts, is it really about freedom, or are you still trying to prove your worth to people who never saw it in you? The Stoics warned us that unchecked desire is not just distracting. It is a form of slavery. A mind ruled by impulse will always be a servant, never a sovereign. What you pursue without reflection often becomes a prison. You tell yourself, if I just get there, I'll feel enough. But underneath that chase is a silent confession. I am not enough now. And that belief, quiet, persistent, unconscious, shapes every action, every thought. Life, after all, doesn't give you what you demand. It reflects what you embody. If you are fractured within, the world will mirror that fracture back. This is why so many exhaust themselves chasing relationships that break them, careers that hollow them, approval that fades like mist. Not because the goal is wrong, but because the self behind the goal is still bleeding. The Stoics taught that no external thing can repair an internal wound. The pursuit becomes a distraction from the real task, to know yourself, to master your emotions, to become whole without needing. And here lies your turning point. Before you ask for more, pause. Ask yourself, what part of me is still unresolved? What fear am I running from? The Stoic path isn't about abandoning your goals. It's about cleansing them of desperation. It's about becoming so inwardly strong, so at peace with yourself, that you stop grasping and start attracting. Not because you need, but because you are ready. You don't need to chase what is already aligned with your soul. You need only become still enough to receive it. That is where everything begins to fall into place. Chapter 2. Your mind hears what you won't admit. Most people wake up each morning believing life is testing them, throwing obstacles their way to measure their strength. But the Stoics would tell you, life is not testing you, it's reflecting you. The world does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to who you are at your core, not your affirmations, not your carefully worded posts, but the silent blueprint that governs your every choice, your inner constitution, your unconscious state of being. The Stoic path is not about chasing signs in the clouds, but about examining the contents of your own soul. The wise know that clarity does not come from gazing outward. It comes from courageous introspection. If beneath your surface there is doubt, fear, and unworthiness, no amount of repetition will transform your life. You can chant, I am enough, 1,000 times, but if the soul still whispers, I am not, the universe will echo that whisper. Because the unconscious, like nature itself, cannot be deceived. It hears what you refuse to say aloud. It carries your pain, your beliefs, your assumptions, whether or not you're willing to look at them. And so life delays, not out of punishment, but in perfect response to your readiness. You say you want peace, but you haven't made peace with your own mind. You crave clarity, yet avoid the silence where it resides. You cannot outwork misalignment. You must face it. That tension in your chest when you visualize your future, that anxiety you feel when asked to trust. It's not fate testing you. It's your own soul asking, do you really believe this is possible? The Stoics urged us not to suppress fear, but to examine it, to meet discomfort with courage and reason. When doubt arises, don't distract yourself with more noise. Sit with it, trace it, understand it. Because every fear carries a lesson, and every hesitation is a doorway to truth. Your inner world speaks constantly. The question is, will you listen? And here's the paradox. When you finally stop trying to force life, when you release control, when you stop interrupting the natural order with frantic effort, that is when things begin to move. Alignment isn't something you chase, it's something you allow, and that allowing begins not in motion, but in stillness. Chapter 3. Letting go is strength. Let go, not as an escape, not out of despair, but as an act of inner clarity. You were never placed in this world to control it. You were placed here to master yourself within it. To the Stoic mind, detachment is not apathy. It is liberation. It is the disciplined decision to withdraw your energy from places where it is wasted and return it to where it belongs, your own soul. Detachment is not the absence of feeling, it's the presence of wisdom. It says, I've done what I can, and now I release what lies beyond my control. This is not passive surrender. It is an active alignment with reason. True freedom isn't found in grasping, but in letting go of the illusion that clinging will save you. You cannot say, I've moved on, while checking your phone every 5 minutes for a name, a sign, a shift. The Stoics taught us that the universe does not respond to your words, it responds to your nature. And if your energy whispers, I need this to feel whole, life will mirror that absence back to you. But when you reach the point where you no longer depend, where your soul says, even if this never arrives, I am still enough, everything changes. Because detachment is not the rejection of desire, it is the rejection of dependency. You no longer need something to define you, and that shift, though silent, is profound. The paradox is timeless. Only when you no longer chase the outcome does it begin to move toward you, not by force, but by resonance. Life responds to those who are full, not those who are pleading to be filled. So if you're aching right now, waiting, longing, grasping, pause. Not to numb the pain, but to ask yourself with brutal honesty, what am I still expecting to fix me? That part of you that craves love, recognition, success. It doesn't need to be erased. It needs to be seen, not by the world, not by the people who misunderstood you, but by you. When you witness yourself, without judgment, without shame, you stop needing external mirrors and begin becoming your own. And that's the moment the shift begins. No more begging, no more proving, just standing, quietly and firmly, in the fullness of who you already are. That, the Stoics would say, is true strength. Chapter 4. The void is the real work. After you let go, after the struggle, the striving, the pleading, something unexpected greets you. Silence. No signs, no sudden shift, no miracle. Just the same quiet morning, the same aching heart, the same unanswered prayers. And a whisper from within asks, was any of that worth it? This is the moment that tests your soul, because we've been conditioned to believe that surrender should be instantly rewarded. That letting go means life will quickly fill the gap. But Stoicism teaches otherwise. Nature doesn't move to soothe your impatience. It moves according to deeper laws, reason, timing, and inner alignment. And so here you are, in the void, the empty, invisible space between who you were and who you are becoming. It feels like nothing, but it holds everything. No applause, no feedback, no map. Just stillness. And in that stillness, you're asked to do something few have the courage to attempt. Trust without proof. This is the sacred ground of becoming. A place where your former self dissolves and your new self is quietly formed, not by noise or validation, but by presence. The Stoics understood that transformation doesn't announce itself. Growth happens beneath the surface, like roots anchoring deep into unseen soil. While your senses see nothing changing, your soul is rearranging. Your desires are being refined, your attachments are being stripped, your nervous system is adapting to hold the peace, love, or freedom you once begged for. But because this process is invisible, your ego will panic. It will whisper that you've failed, that nothing is coming. And if you believe that voice, you'll break the silence too soon. You'll chase again, and in doing so, you'll block what was quietly on its way. But the void is not punishment. It is preparation. It is where the illusion of control is dismantled and only truth remains. The test is simple. Can you become the embodiment of what you seek, even before it appears? Can you walk in peace before the solution arrives? Can you feel complete before the outcome is confirmed? If so, you collapse time. You turn the waiting into becoming. And life meets you, not because you demanded it, but because you matched it. So if you're in that sacred quiet, stay there. Breathe. Watch. Endure. Let your presence become your proof. Because once you master the stillness, life will no longer echo your fears. It will mirror your strength and answer you in harmony. Chapter 5. Integrate before you attract. Every desire you carry is not a mistake. It's not the universe playing games, nor a punishment for wanting too much. Desire, to the Stoic, is a messenger, a reflection, not of what's missing in the world, but of what's still unresolved within. You don't long for money merely for riches. You seek the safety you believe it promises. You don't crave a relationship just to be loved. You yearn to feel seen. Success isn't about applause. It's about finally believing you are enough. The desire is not the trap. The unconscious dependency hiding beneath it is. This is where many lose their way. They confuse fixation with focus. They think checking, overthinking, overanalyzing every silence or shift in energy is discipline. But obsession is not mastery, it's insecurity in disguise. True Stoic strength isn't found in restless reaching. It's found in quiet integration, in the courage to sit with your full self, your wisdom and your weakness, your reason and your doubt, and say, even this belongs. Because wholeness isn't the absence of flaws, it's the acceptance of all that you are. The Stoics didn't seek perfection. They sought alignment with nature, inner harmony over external validation. They taught that peace comes not from grasping at what you lack, but from embracing what you've abandoned. Your shadow, your ambition, your fear, your hidden fire. None of these are mistakes. They are materials for becoming. And once you make peace with them, you stop asking life to complete you. You become full without needing to be filled. So, the next time the urge to chase takes hold, pause, not in passivity, but in power. Ask yourself, what am I still hoping this outcome will fix? And if the answer is my sense of self, then you've already found the real work. Because once you realize you are already whole, not broken, not late, not less, something radical happens. The noise quiets, the need dissolves, and what remains is calm, clarity, and a presence so steady it becomes magnetic. That's the shift, from manifesting in desperation to attracting through grounded alignment. So yes, you could keep decoding signs, refreshing screens, and waiting for proof. Or you could do the most stoic thing imaginable. Let go. Sit still. Trust what you've already become. Because when the soul is ready, life moves, not because you beg for it, but because you finally stopped resisting what's been seeking you all along. Chapter 6. Choose peace over panic. Let's speak plainly. That restless part of you, the one that keeps refreshing your phone, checking messages, analyzing delays, asking, why hasn't it happened yet? That's not your higher wisdom. That's your ego in fear. The ego detests uncertainty. It seeks control not to create clarity, but to quiet its panic. And when it can't control the outcome, it fabricates chaos, calling it intuition. But the Stoics taught us that clarity does not come from control, it comes from composure. What you think is intuition may simply be unhealed fear dressed as urgency. The ego is loud, it wants guarantees, it demands timelines and proof. It panics when life doesn't move at its command. But the soul, your truest self, moves differently. It seeks not outcomes, but alignment. It doesn't chase what it already embodies. The soul speaks in stillness, not in striving. It says, I've endured storms greater than this. I know how to trust. The ego asks, how will it happen? The soul answers, I don't need to know. I just need to remain in truth. You are not the frantic version of yourself trying to fix everything. You are the calm beneath the noise, the one who breathes deeper, moves slower, and doesn't measure worth by validation or speed. That part of you trusts the rhythm of nature. It doesn't force divine timing to match your impatience. It aligns and allows. It understands that what is meant for you doesn't arrive through tension, but through trust. To reach that state, you must pause when panic rises. Step back from the impulse to act, just to feel in control. Ask yourself, is this coming from fear or from peace? If it's fear, it's ego. If it's calm, it's soul. The Stoics would say, do not cling to what lies beyond your command. Choose instead to govern what is yours, your mindset, your reaction, your pace. This is not about abandoning ambition, it's about releasing desperation, because pressure repels, peace attracts. The healed self doesn't beg, it doesn't demand, it simply is. And in that being, it magnetizes what once seemed out of reach. So, if you're in a moment of doubt, don't drown it in noise. Don't reach for distractions. Be still. Put your hand to your chest and ask, what would the calm, grounded version of me do right now? Then follow that. Not to control the future, but to become the kind of person who no longer needs to. That is Stoic peace. And once you choose it, life begins to rise to meet you. Chapter 7. Face the unseen parts of you. You cannot create a better life by only embracing the polished parts of yourself. You can't call in abundance while exiling the parts of you that feel afraid, bitter, ashamed, or broken. Because life, as the Stoics understood, responds not to what you pretend to be, but to who you are in your entirety. Wholeness is power, and wholeness means facing the parts of you you've spent years trying to outrun. The Stoics did not fear the darker corners of the mind. They met them with clarity and courage. What we call the shadow is not evil. It's simply the unseen, It is the fear you buried, the anger you never gave voice to, the guilt you masked with perfectionism, the insecurity disguised as ambition. These are not flaws, they are fragments, and they only become dangerous when ignored. Most people believe manifestation is about vision boards and high vibrations. But lasting change, deep, aligned transformation, doesn't come from fantasy. It comes from inner reconciliation. If your desire for love is driven by the hope that someone else will make you feel enough, that's not love. It's a wound looking for relief. If you pursue wealth out of a belief that safety is only found in more, your efforts will be colored by fear. And here's the truth. If you manifest from fragmentation, you will attract reflection, not healing. A partner who deepens your abandonment wound, money that slips through your fingers, success that feels hollow. Because what's created from fear cannot bring peace. The Stoics taught us to bring every hidden impulse into the light, because what remains unexamined quietly governs us. Until you see it, it owns you. Once seen, it serves you. So ask the question not, how do I attract more, but what inside me still believes I am not already enough. This is not a punishment. This is the path. It requires ownership, not shame, grace, not denial. It's the discipline to hold space for every part of you and to say, you are welcome, but you will no longer lead. Because when you integrate the parts you've pushed away, you stop manifesting from fear. You begin to radiate from wholeness, and life, always the mirror, reflects not your striving, but your self-acceptance. That is not wishful thinking, it is Stoic alignment. No more chasing, no more escaping. Just a return to what's already within. That, in the end, is the most powerful creation of all. Chapter 8. You are not stuck, you are becoming. Here's the truth. Few are willing to face. The greatest obstacle between you and the life you want isn't fate, your past, or even external circumstances. It's you. Not in a way that condemns, but in a way that calls for clarity. The Stoics taught that freedom begins the moment you take full responsibility for your inner world. And yet, for most people, self-acceptance is the scariest task of all. Because to truly accept yourself, you must stop hiding from the guilt, the shame, the regret, the deep belief that maybe you're not enough. So instead of facing the self, we chase distraction, we pursue recognition, we hustle for love and grind for status. But behind the ambition often lies avoidance, not growth, but escape. The harder you try to outrun yourself, the more life mirrors you back to you. Why? Because you cannot attract what you secretly believe you don't deserve. The world responds not to your affirmations, but to your frequency, your embodied state of being. And if your mind says, I want more, while your heart still whispers, I'm not ready, then your energy becomes divided. You unknowingly create resistance. Not because you're broken, but because you're still anchored in a self-image built for survival, not expansion. A self that learned to earn love, not receive it freely. But here's the Stoic clarity. You don't need to strive harder. You need to become the version of yourself that no longer has to strive, the version that acts from worth, not from fear. Because you don't receive what you want, you receive what you are. And until you align your identity with your intention, life will echo back your contradiction. So if you're stuck, ask not, why is nothing working, but what part of me still believes I must suffer to be worthy? That is where the shift begins. Not in chasing outcomes, but in transforming the self who seeks them. When you evolve within, life follows without. That's not fantasy. That's Stoic alignment. That's the quiet power of becoming ready, genuinely, fully, inwardly, for everything you've asked for. Chapter 9. You're not manifesting, you're returning. Let's close this journey with a truth the Stoics lived by. The life you seek isn't something to manifest, it's something to remember. You're not calling in something outside of you. You're uncovering what has always been within. All the striving, the affirmations, the healing, the effort, they weren't to build a new self. They were to strip away what never belonged. The fear, the guilt, the need to prove, the illusion that you had to earn what was already yours. The Stoics taught that nothing external defines you. What matters is how aligned you are with your inner nature, your logos, your reason, your virtue. The version of you that is whole, peaceful, and capable already exists. Not in the future, not once you succeed, but now. It's your original nature. But along the way, the world told you to perform, to chase, to be more. And in the noise, you forgot. You forgot your stillness. You forgot your worth. You don't need to become someone else. You need to return to your essence. That's why the Stoics didn't teach force. They taught stillness, clarity, surrender to reason. When you stop pushing, when you stop grasping, you align. Not because surrender is a shortcut, but because it's your natural state. You don't beg for peace. You remember that you are peace. So if you're still stuck, still forcing life to move, pause. Not in weakness, but in wisdom. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply being reminded. The life you want is already aligned with who you truly are. You don't manifest it by striving. You remember it by becoming. And when you do, life doesn't need to be forced. It flows. And when you become that version of yourself, quiet, grounded, complete, you no longer chase. You no longer ask. You simply allow. You simply are. If something in this video stirred a part of you, don't rush past it. Let it settle. Let it echo. This wasn't just content. It was a mirror. A reminder that you're not here to prove, but to return. To who you were before the striving began. If you feel that, take a breath and comment below. I remember. Not for show, but to affirm it within. And if you're ready to walk this path, not of effort, but of alignment, tap subscribe, not to follow, but to anchor. The next step is waiting. And sometimes, doing nothing is exactly how everything begins to move. Stay present. You're already on your way.